Hola mi gente, te habla Broadway Joel, la voz del boxeo dominicano, y hoy vamos a hablar de Michel La Salsa Rivera. Él tuvo su última pelea en DAZN, su primera pelea en DAZN, hizo su debut. Eh, el micrófono. Pues sí, como estaba diciendo, vamos a hablar de Michel Rivera, de su última pelea que peleó en DAZN. Eh, eh, me gustó como bien, se vio, boxeó bien, especialmente contra un oponente muy raro, un oponente como incómodo, ¿tú me entiendes? Se cambiaba a zurdo, se cambiaba a derecho, se tiraba, como que el balance de él no estaba al 100, que hubo varias veces que él estaba en el piso, que no fue un knockdown, por su mismo balance, un peleador como incómodo, ¿tú me entiendes? Entonces, un peleador y así es muy difícil uno verse, tú sabes, al 100. Y con todo y todo, me gustó cómo se vio Michel Rivera, boxeó una pelea buena, me gustó y quiero ver qué él va a hacer me, Emma, déjame hablar de la pelea. Me gustó, a mí me gustó de lo que hizo Michel Rivera en esta pelea fue su defensa. Usó su pierna mucho cuando, tú sabes, controlando la distancia y usando su pierna como defensa, moviéndose del medio, ¿tú me entiendes? Peleando a la distancia que él quiera. También me gustó más que él se estaban sentando los puños, que a veces, tú me entiendes, no que él no lo hacía antes, pero no lo hacía tan constantemente. Sentí como que en esta pelea él él estaba muy, muy bien sentado en su puño cuando lo conectaba. Conectaba golpe duro, hasta le dio un knockdown en el último asalto. Y me gustó en verdad cómo se vio. Lo único que no me gustó es que a veces que cuando Roldán le cortaba la distancia y le ponía la pelea cerrada así, como que su plan era amarrarlo, y ese fue como que el único plan que él tenía para cuando la pelea estaba en corta distancia. Le funcionó, claro, pero digo yo como que a veces uno tiene que pelear ahí adentro con él, tú me entiendes, para enseñarle que, ok, yo quiero pelear a larga distancia, me cortaste el ring, ya estamos adentro. Yo no te voy a amarrar, te voy a pelear aquí, te voy a ganar aquí también. Aunque no es su estilo de pelea, creo que amarrar no debería ser tu única opción en la corta distancia. Pero tú sabes, es una pelea que yo la vi Michelle Rivera ganando por mucho punto, aunque un juez le dio la pelea a Roldán, no sé qué pelea él estaba viendo, lamentablemente se perdió una pelea buena porque para tú tener a Roldán ganando es que tú no viste esa pelea. ¿Tú me entiendes? Entonces, tú sabes, esa es la única crítica constructiva que tengo, es que amarró mucho cuando estaba en la corta distancia. Me gustaría verlo ahí pelear un ching más, o tú sabes, si tú vas a amarrar, que tú lo amarres y es para posicionarte de una manera donde tú puedas, ok, salir por fuera y ahora tener tu distancia. ¿Tú me entiendes? Pero en verdad lució bien, tiene un tiempito que sin pelear. Su última pelea fue con Sergey Lepinets, un ex campeón mundial, un peleador, tú sabes, de calidad, que le ganó. Y esta es su segunda pelea con Rocky Hernández, el entrenador de Jermaine Ortiz. Y parece que se están, tú sabes, él está aprendiendo de lo que este hombre le está enseñando, porque veo la diferencia y me está gustando en verdad lo que ha visto. Eh, ah, Esta pelea fue en las 140 libras, también su pelea anterior fue en las 140, pero yo hablé con Michel Rivera recientemente, y él me dijo a mí que él puede pelear en las 135 y que él está cómodo, que esto y lo otro. Y en los últimos rankings que salieron del FIB, de la IBF, él salió rankeado en la 135 y la conversación que él y yo tuvimos fue como que el plan es volver a la 135, como que él puede hacer su peso en su 135 y que yo en verdad no estoy de acuerdo. Yo lo he visto en mala condición en la pelea con Frank Martin, siendo la 35. Creo que la 140 es el peso donde él debería estar peleando, donde no se va a estar sacrificando tanto, porque mucha gente no sabe, y no digo él, yo digo en general, que, oye, tú te estás sacando el jugo, tú toda la fuerza, cuando tú estás bajando de peso así, cuando tú estás forzando tu cuerpo para bajar en un peso donde, tú me entiendes, 5 libras son muchas, tú me entiendes, tú hidratarte 5 libras más, desayunarte y beberte 2 jarros de agua, tú me entiendes, esa es la diferencia. Entonces, eh, 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 no, me gustaría que él esté en la 140, pero tú sabes, la decisión está entre él, lo que él quiere hacer. ¿Tú me entiendes? Eh, ah, yo estoy muy curioso cómo el promotor de él, Dimitri Salita, lo va a mover ahora, porque él, yo no encontré que fue buena idea, tú sabes, como promotor, digo, tirar a Michel Rivera en el undercard, en la cartelera, en el co-main event, coestelar de Clarissa Shields, allá en Michigan. Como que yo no veo como que lo están promoviendo. Yo en verdad estoy un poco confundido, porque este es un promotor como que no tiene no jala mucho, no tiene mucho poder en el boxeo, que yo he visto. Claro, tú sabes, de aquí a un año, a dos, a tres, puede ser que las cosas cambien, pero de que yo he visto, él no es una persona que tiene muchos peleadores, no es una persona que tiene mucho poder, y ponerlo en el coestelar de Clarissa Shields, como que no le encontré como el ritmo, como, claro, ustedes saben que yo siempre repito lo que los dominicanos tienen que pelear en Nueva York, pero también si no van a pelear en Nueva York, que sea una cartelera que tenga ciencia, ¿tú me entiendes? Que no, que el main event es un 140 que está peleando por un título, o que si yo qué, que si yo, ¿tú me entiendes? Pero lamentablemente este promotor, Dimitri Salita, no tiene esa clase de conexiones. Y estoy curioso, primeramente, en qué peso de verdad va a pelear Michelle, porque cuando yo hablé con él, tú sabes, como que me mencionó como que va a ser en la 135, pero sus últimas dos peleas son las 140. Entonces, estoy curioso en qué peso él va a pelear y también cómo el promotor Dimitri Salita lo va a promover. Él sigue promoviéndose como Ali, él tiene en el pantalón el nombre de Mohamed Ali, y él sigue con eso, promocionándose él mismo con el nombre de un boxeador histórico. Pero quiero saber qué el promotor, que es el boxeador, es el verdadero, el que tiene que tener el plan de cómo subir el nombre de su peleador. Estoy curioso cómo eso va ahí. También tuvimos ayer mismo, ayer fue una noche buena para los dominicanos, porque ganó Michel Rivera y en la Olimpiada ganó Cristian Pinala. Cristian Pinala, yo le he hecho entrevista aquí en este canal, también hemos hablado de él, porque él sacó oro en los Juegos Centroamericanos. Y última vez que hablamos de él en este canal fue que él cualificó para la Olimpiada. Ahora está en la Olimpiada y peleó contra un tailandés y ganó 5-0. Él ahora está en los últimos 16 boxeadores compitiendo para la medalla de oro. él es un boxeador muy incómodo. Creo que él tiene un estilo muy amateur, muy amateur. No sé cómo va a ser él en el profesional de tan amateur que es. Entonces, eh, eso sí le conviene a él en la Olimpiada, porque él tiene como un estilo cubano, en verdad. Y claro, aquí el que sigue mi canal sabe de Armando Hernández, el entrenador del equipo nacional, que es cubano y ha traído su estilo. Y como pelea Cristian Pinales, sí, yo nada más sé que es dominicana por el uniforme, que tiene la bandera dominicana, porque si no fuera por eso, yo digo que es cubano. Y no, y creo que él tiene un potencial, sí, de sacar una medalla, sea de plata, sea de oro, pero tiene una oportunidad y le ganó muy fácil al tailandés, le ganó 5-0. Cada 5 jueces le dio la pelea a Cristian Pinales y ahora él está 2 ganadas para un bronce, 3 para una plata y 4 para un oro. Así que él está un poquito más cerca de su meta con esa ganada que tuvo ayer mismo. Y también tenemos otro dominicano en la Olimpiada, Junior Alcantara, que le dieron un pase a la próxima ronda. Yo no sé cómo se elige quién se va a llevar el pase. No sé si se trata con el ranking mundialmente o quién ganó, porque él ganó los Juegos Panamericanos. No sé si eso le subió el ranking a número 1 y por eso a él le dieron el pase al próximo round, pero él también está en los últimos 16 peleadores en su categoría. También 2 peleas para un bronce, 3 peleas para una plata y 4 para un oro. Así que todavía tenemos 2 boxeadores dominicanos que tienen el potencial de sacar una medalla de oro, que además ha sido una vez en la historia del boxeo dominicano en la Olimpiada que se ha sacado medalla de oro, que fue Félix Díaz en el 2008. Así que hace 16 años que no se saca una medalla de oro en los Juegos Olímpicos por un dominicano. Y para los americanos que están viendo, hace 20 años que no se ve una medalla de oro aquí en Estados Unidos. Andre Ward fue el último en el 2004 en Grecia que ganó una medalla de oro. Así que ellos también están en búsqueda de eso. Tuvieron un par de peleadores que ganaron y avanzaron. La Olimpiada es algo, tú sabes, que últimamente se ha hecho difícil ver la pelea que uno quiere ver, pero no entiendo por qué el interés está ahí, especialmente en el boxeo, porque a veces tú ves en la televisión y te tienen una vaina ahí que tú nunca vas a ver, ¿tú me entiendes? Una vaina de que tirando una bola, a ver qué tan lejos llega, que no, que brincando, que esto y lo otro, en vez de un boxeo que es peleando y es un deporte que todo el mundo lo entiende, no solo porque están acostumbrados de verlo en profesional, también quién no entiende una pelea, ¿tú me entiendes? ¿Quién no entiende que no, que este le está lastimando más, este parece que ganó, ¿tú me entiendes? Pero uno se tiene que recordar de la historia de la Olimpiada. Había mucha pelea que la decisión han salido malísimas y hasta casi no llegaron a esta Olimpiada. Casi dijeron que no iban a poner esta pelea. Digo, en este ciclo de Olimpiada tenían la oportunidad de no tener boxeo. Y también todavía estamos en riesgo para la próxima Olimpiada no tener boxeo. Así que es algo muy interesante que tú me entiendes, esto puede ser la última Olimpiada en el boxeo y se está aquí, por lo menos aquí en Estados Unidos, para ver el boxeo, tú sabes, se está haciendo difícil. No lo están dando en televisión, uno tiene que bajar una aplicación, entrar el código o pagar $8 mensual, como un lío, tú me entiendes, en vez de algo que debería ser fácil. Ok, ellos pelean a tal hora, déjame yo verlo. ¿Tú me entiendes? Pero lamentablemente así es que estamos. Oye, mi gente, yo puse el link en el chat por el que quiere entrar aquí a hablar conmigo, la voz del boxeo dominicano. Podemos hablar de todo, de todo, de todo, todo, todo. Y si quieren conversar conmigo, tienen alguna pregunta de la Olimpiada o de Michel Rivera, yo estoy aquí disponible para responderle. No, pero en verdad, tocando el tema otra vez de Michel Rivera, yo encuentro que él debería quedarse en la 140, que creo que una división que hay muchos boxeadores buenos. Claro, no tienen los nombres que tiene la 135. La 135 tiene Gervonta Davis, tiene a Shakur Stevenson, tiene a Lomachenko, pero si uno tú me entiendes, ahora que él está con este promotor, no sé, tú sabes, no sé cómo le llega esa pelea que yo acabo de mencionar. Pero si él hace su trabajo, uno nunca sabe. Uno nunca sabe qué le puede llegar. Qué le puede llegar. Pero mi gente, yo quiero hablar de Roan Polanco, otro 140. Y quiero hablar de la calidad de boxeador que es. Yo vi otra vez la pelea que él tuvo en Miami. Creo que fue el 21 de junio o algo así. No me recuerdo exactamente la fecha, pero fue algo por ahí. Y te digo que yo creo que Roan Polanco tiene algo especial. Tiene algo que el boxeo dominicano no ha visto desde los tiempos de Joan Guzmán. Créeme que así es que estoy hablando de ese muchacho. Ese muchacho, Roan Polanco, tiene pegada, tiene defensa, inteligente, y me gusta que él calmadito, él no viene ahí a lo loco, él viene con un plan calmadito, no se mueve mucho, no está. Él está ahí caminando hacia su oponente y cuando como el estilo Floyd Mayweather, como quien dice. No digo que Mayweather tampoco me va a pasar, pero digo el estilo. Y entonces ahora está conectando el cuerpo a la cabeza y golpe duro, 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 duro. Y yo estaba allá en vivo y yo sentí esos golpes. Yo, pum, pum, pum. Que había hasta uno ahí sentado al lado de mí en la prensa diciéndole al referee, ¡para la pelea! Como algunos 30 segundos antes que la pelea se paró, él estaba gritando que la pare la pelea porque de tanta violencia que había ahí. No sé por qué él no está rankeado mundialmente por algunos de los organismos, porque en verdad yo creo que él está preparado para pelear con cualquier 140 del mundo, cualquiera. Ahora, que él le gane a todos, tampoco yo voy a decir eso, porque también yo lo tengo que ver con unos peleadores, tú sabes, que están a nivel mundialmente. ¿Tú me estás entendiendo? Pero no que él ha peleado con peleadores fácil, porque eso es mentira. Si yo diría eso, eso sería mentira, porque yo lo he visto pelear con peleadores veteranos que vienen a ganar, vienen a pelear, y él lo hace ver como una pelea fácil, pero es porque él tiene tanto talento, no porque esos peleadores tienen baja calidad, pero no son peleadores, tú sabes, que están rankeados mundialmente, como van a poner a un. Déjame ver quién está en la 140. No puedo de la cabeza, como bueno, a un Lindolfo Delgado, a un Arnold Barbosa, a un José Ramírez, a un Richardson Hitchens, Liam Paro. ¿Tú me entiendes? Un peleador así que esté mundialmente reconocido como un boxeador de calidad que tiene argumentos para estar en el top 10, porque ustedes saben que la 140 está picante. La 140 es una de las divisiones más fuerte, más dura en el boxeo entero. Porque del 1 al 15, como que se hace difícil encontrar pelea fácil. ¿Tú me entiendes? Y entonces también tenemos a Elvi Rodríguez, a Alberto Puello, que al Puello, oye, cuidado si él no es el mejor 140 del mundo. Porque yo acabo de mencionar que la 140 es una de las divisiones más fuertes de actualidad. Y eso hace, ya tiene 2 o 3 años así mismo corriendo de fuerte. Y Alberto Puello se coronó campeón mundial 2 veces. 2 veces, y las 2 veces que él peleó por el título, peleó contra el favorito, siendo que él entró hembra. ¿Tú me entiendes? Cuando él peleó con Akhmadov, él estaba por perder esa pelea, si lo estamos llevando de la apuesta. Y también en su pelea contra Gary Antoine Russell, si uno se lleva de la apuesta, ve que él tampoco estaba supuesto a ganar esa pelea. Así que yo no estoy viendo y digo, coño, Teofimo no se vio muy bien en su última pelea. Subriel Matías acaba de perder. Devin Haney, aunque sí le quitaron la derrota de su récord, sufrió una derrota contra Ryan García. Vimos que él dio positivo, también falló de peso, muchas cosas pasó, pero yo no voy a decir que le voy a quitar todo el mérito a Devin Haney, pero hay que bajarle un chin. Hay que bajarle un chin, aunque esa derrota no contó, como quien dice, hay que bajarle un chin de ahí. Entonces, si hay que bajarle un ching, ¿por qué no Puello el mejor del mundo? Digo, el 140 del mundo. Digo yo que Alberto Puello tiene el potencial de ganarle cualquier 140 del mundo. También. Y creo. Oh, Jose, dime a ver, ¿qué es lo que? What's up, my brother?
What's going on, bro? How do I turn this off? I got you. I'm good now, right?
You good. Your mic sounds a little fuzzy though.
How about now?
We can make it work. We can make it work. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm here, man, tuning in.
All right. Did
Tuning
you get a chance to see Michel Rivera last night?
in. Good win. It's a good win. I don't know. I don't know what the future has for him though, but he got to stay busy. Let's see what Dimitri could do for him.
Yeah. Before you got on, I don't know how long you've been watching, but I had the same take. Like, well, I don't understand what Dimitri Salita could do for him. Like, Dimitri Salita doesn't have any significant 140 pounders or 135 pounders, because I spoke to Michel Rivera on Friday. No, was it on Thursday? And he told me that his plan is to move to back down to 135. I was like, whoa, I don't think that's a good idea. And he was just telling me how he can make that weight comfortable and that he's not struggling. And yeah, so I don't know where he goes, but I ain't think on being on the undercard of Clarissa Shields was was exactly a good move, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, he got to stay busy. So that's, I mean, if that's the only way to keep him busy. Otherwise, I don't know when Dimitri's next show is. So he already. I mean, it's been like 8 months or something, right, since he last fought.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. He last fought Sergey Lipinets. So
Yeah.
that
So
sounds
who
about right.
knows? Who knows how long it would have been? So I mean, you got to stay busy. Staying busy is good. And then
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, I lost the screen for a minute. I mean, he got to do what he got to do. Hopefully, he got more in store for him, because you remember when Don King was promoting way back in the 90s?
Yeah.
A lot of people were mad, and a lot of fighters, like Chavez and Trinidad and Terry Norris, because they said Don King had made them superstar undercard fighters, right? So even though the fans loved it, but there comes a time where you got to break away for it. Hopefully, Dimitri got something in store for him the next two or three fights. I don't think this year anything's happening.
Yeah, no, well, the leader, he does a lot of shows in Detroit, some off TV, some on TV, and he seems to have a little niche over there. So I'm assuming that's where Michel is going to be fighting. But we don't know. Again, I don't know when his next show is, but from what I understand, he does have a lot of shows out there.
And he got the DAZN. He got a couple of dates with the DAZN.
So, yeah, but
no, go ahead. I don't know what the budget is, though. I mean, can he get other contenders to go out there?
Or maybe you send them out to somebody else. Put them on.
He got to stay busy until another offer comes, and then let's see what Michel does. I'm not crazy about 135 though. Again, for him,
me neither. He had struggle. He didn't look good at the weigh-in at the Frank Martin fight, which was his last fight at 135. Then it comes out he tests positive for diuretics, so he got to the weight, yes, but
but how? Right,
exactly how, and even before that, I remember my friend True from A-Side Boxing Talk. He the fight right before Frank Martin, he had texted me a picture of Michel Rivera from the weigh-in, and he was like that he didn't like the way he looked. So he looked strong to me. He was sitting down on his punches yesterday. He had the stamina, went all full 10 rounds, didn't look tired. He even got a knockdown in the 10th round. It was a really solid knockdown too. It wasn't no flash knockdown. I liked how he looked at 140, especially, fighting that guy was really, really awkward. So it was a bit difficult to look good against, and he made the best of it. I'm just curious as to why he's trying to force going down to 135.
Yeah, whose idea is that? That's his idea or Dimitri's idea? Whose idea is it?
From our conversation, it looks like it's his idea. He's currently ranked, I believe, 14th in the IBF at 135. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But I personally don't think he should be fighting at that weight. But that's just my humble opinion. I don't, I only he knows himself. He says that he's always fought at 135 and that he knows what happened in the Frank Martin fight and that's his weight and that's always been his weight. And he doesn't understand why people keep saying he needs to fight at 140. So, at the end of the day, it's his career, but,
honestly, he only got to be 135 for a day, right? For the day of the weigh-in. So maybe he could do it. But the next question is he going to get that shot? Right? Are you going to go down just to fight a contender, or do you actually have a title shot lined up there?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. You don't want to move back down and have to have 7 fights to get a title.
Right, exactly. So, okay, for Shakur, title fight. All right, he only got to be 135 for a little while. So maybe he could do it. So I think right now he's stuck in that in between. And he's going to go wherever the title shot comes or the big money.
Yeah, I mean, if he's looking for big money, then 135 is the way to go. Because although, Shakur Stevenson doesn't necessarily excite fans, he does turn fans out. You know what I'm saying? Fans do come out to see him.
Yeah, so, he's getting a lot of bad press, though. So he's only... I thought he looked pretty good last fight. I thought he did what he had to do. Now, it ain't like I'm dying to see him fight against just anybody, but you got to get the right opponents for him. You put the right opponent for him, and it's a good fight. He's fighting guys that are kind of like the guys he's fighting. I mean, I don't want to knock him. I don't know what goes on behind the promotions, and supposedly people turned down fights against him, so maybe that was the best. But I think he'll look good if you put him up against a better name. I think his performance will be appreciated more.
What names would you want to see him in the ring with?
So, I don't think Devin's going to fight him, so he might as well go for Pitbull and Teofimo Lopez, maybe. Yeah. I don't think Loma's going to fight him.
Yeah, you're right. And at that point, you got to work with a different promoter. And
Which he who did he sign with? Did he sign with anyone yet?
You talking about Michel, right?
No, I'm back to Shakur. Did he sign with?
No. My bad. He hasn't signed yet. No. He hasn't signed yet.
Michel's with Dimitri for a minute, right?
Michel's with Dimitri, but it's looking like from what I've heard him say, it's looking like he's gonna go to the Matchroom route.
Dimitri got a good relationship with Matchroom.
Yeah. It's looking like Shakur's going the Matchroom route because Eddie Hearn said, "Hey, listen, I'm willing to do a 2, 3, 4 fight deal. Like it doesn't have to be like, hey, sign with me for 4 or 5 years. We could do a 2, 3 fight deal, and we could do." And he said that he's also willing to write in the contract that if a Gervonta Davis fight comes up, and they don't want him involved, that they can break out the contract. Like he's that much interested in promoting Shakur. If he goes on Shakur, that's on the same network as guys like Michel Rivera, who says he's willing to move down.
If Shakur goes with Matchroom, then Michel got a good chance of fighting him because Dimitri and Matchroom work well together.
Yeah, and again, it's the same network. At that point, like a lot of the hurdles in boxing, most of it is network related, not necessarily promoter related. Sometimes the promoter goes, you know what, that's a good fight, let's make it. And it's like,
the promoter is really TV. That's who's putting up the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm. So that's why Shakur, Gervonta, they're talking about it. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet that it's going to happen.
I mean, the only thing is Lomachenko's out the picture.
Yeah.
So, he said he's taking the rest of the year off to, to focus on himself and all that stuff. And so that fight's not going to happen. Shakur doesn't have a fight. He said on Twitter he wants that fight. Gervonta Davis has mentioned in the past that he has a contract where Shakur Stevenson's name is on it, and it has certain stipulations, I guess. I don't see why it can't happen next. I mean, who if they don't fight each other, who do they fight? I don't know.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
135 is although it's a good division, it's more top heavy, and then on top of that, it's top heavy on names. Like once after you get off from Shakur, Loma, and Tank.
Yeah.
William Zepeda is a good fighter, but he really doesn't have a name. Raymond Murataya doesn't really have a name.
Yeah, I know. But that also increases Michel Rivera's chances of kind of sliding in. So, so we'll see. I don't know. I don't see him. I don't know. Has Dimitri ever worked with PBC? Not much, I don't think.
I mean, he sent Ergashev to fight Subriel Matias on I believe it was
okay.
I believe it was I forgot whose undercard it was. It was a pay-per-view. It might have been Benavidez Andrade. I don't remember, but he did send his fight. But that was a mandatory, so I don't know if because it was a mandatory, that's why they worked it out.
Maybe listen, Dimitri. I mean, he has gotten his guys title fight, so maybe he could work something out. He did good with Clarissa. He got Adewale a couple of big fights.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe he could do something with Michel.
Maybe.
What helps Michel is that he's in that next tier. So if the super fights don't get made, they got to go down to that next tier, and he's in a good spot for that.
Have you been following the Olympics at all, or no?
Very little. Just started, didn't it? I seen a lot of protests. They had some one of the cycling teams had all their bikes stolen, right? The soccer teams got stolen. So I'm hearing all the bad stuff, plus all the negative comments about the opening ceremonies, which I don't know what they were trying to do. But I know the girl fought, right? One of the American girls fought.
Guys fought too.
How many fights so far?
There's been quite a few fights. There's been
all right. So I haven't followed all of it. What I missed?
What was that?
What I missed?
Nothing out of the ordinary, but the Americans so far, they've all won, or the male Americans. I don't know about the female Americans. I haven't been following them. And then the two Dominicans, one got a bye, so he
All right.
automatically advanced to the next, and then one just got a win.
What weight?
One is he's a light heavyweight, and which is I think is 81 kilograms or something like that. And then the other one, I don't remember he's like 122 or something like that. Somewhere like he's like a lower weight class. Something around that.
The 122. He's the one that won.
No, he's the one that got the bye because he had one gold. He had one gold in the Pan American Games, and I think that got him to the #1 ranking in the world. I could be wrong on that, so somebody fact check me if you know the facts, but I think that's why he got the bye. So he's automatically in the final 16. Okay. Final 16, and Christian Pinal, the light heavyweight, he won, and he's now in the final 16 as well.
Is he the guy that was in the car accident?
It is. Okay. So what's interesting about him is he was going to train. He was going to go to a qualifying tournament, and he got into that big car accident. And like he wasn't going to be cleared medically to qualify, so it was just kind of like, damn, like it's terrible. And then all of a sudden, another tournament shows up where if he won a certain amount of fights, he can qualify. And by that time, his injuries were recovered, and so he went. He got the requisite amount of wins. He didn't win the tournament, but he got a good amount of wins, and boom. And he is qualified now. And honestly, he has a very, very like that Cuban like amateur boxing style, kind of like, and it works really well for this for the Olympics. You know, like how Cubans always dominated the Olympics, always won gold medals, and the Dominican boxing Olympic coach, he's Cuban, so I think he just basically had this kid since young. Put that Cuban style in him, and it's been working for him real well. I don't know how he does in the pros, just to be honest, because his style is so amateurish. It's so made for this Olympic style. But he got the win, and I honestly think he has a good chance at getting gold, or at least medaling. I definitely do think, just because of that style. He's very long. He's about 6'2", 6'3", very long arms, good jab. And uses his footwork, switches southpaw, switches orthodox. I like him a lot, to be honest with you.
Well, it looks like fate is on his side too, because you come out of that accident and recover in time. So he's got a lot of good energy behind him.
For sure.
And he missed the tournament, right?
He missed.
Mm-hmm. So the way they do it now, you got to get those quota points. So the more tournaments you're in. So for him to even make it after having missed one and not winning the other one is pretty big.
Yeah, the reason why he didn't have to win that second tournament he was in is because he won gold in the Central American Games.
Yeah, so he got whatever points they accumulate for that.
Yeah. And in that tournament, he beat two-time Olympic gold medalist Arlen Lopez.
Okay.
So, like he beat a quality opponent who I'm sure, I'm not sure how that point system works, but I'm sure beating a former two-time gold medalist and winning the tournament for a gold medal, I'm sure that helps your case.
They call them quotas. So you got to see, like it says, if you came in first place, you get 6 points, 4 points, whatever. They break it down like that. So it's not like the old days, like in the 90s. Each country decided who went. So you would have your own local tournament, regional tournament, national tournament, then you would have the Olympic trials. And you could pick whoever you want. That's why a lot of countries had some guys that had like no chance of winning any medals, right? So now it's different though, because now you got to go by the amateur association rules, and you can't have a representative you're allowed to have a representative in every division, but not every country is sending 8 people, 10 people like it used to be, right? So you had to qualify in that international level. So supposedly everyone who's in the Olympics has a chance to win the medal. That's how they designed it now in the last few.
It should be because I heard about stories from some of the Dominicans that I interviewed that they would win certain tournaments in the Dominican Republic and they'll send the other guy just out of favoritism. Not to the Olympics, but to like international tournaments.
That's a problem too. Amateur boxing has been a mess. They almost didn't even have it this year in the Olympics.
Yeah, I know. Before you got on here, I discussed that as well.
I
got a $2 super chat. Says, Broadway, what's your thought on Junior Alcantara? I haven't seen too much, but from what I've seen, he's good. He's smart. He goes to the body, and he's very smart. He knows how to make his adjustments. And I wish he got the bye here in this Olympics. So who knows how why I can't assess his last performance because he didn't have a performance. He got the bye, but from what I've seen in the Pan American Games and what I've seen from him in other fights, again, I've probably seen like 4 fights of his. I one thing I took from it is that he's very smart. He is very smart. He knows what he's doing. How do you know how this works? So Michel Rivera is advised by Al Heyman, but he's promoted by
Dimitri.
Yeah. So technically, he's still a PBC fighter, or how do you know how that works?
I mean, advisor Heyman could work with any promoter, really, right? So he's probably gonna favor PBC more so than anything. But PBC is in a funny place right now because, they got a couple shows. I think they're behind what they were hoping to do, though, this year so far. So they could go anywhere. It's up to Dimitri. But technically, I guess Al Heyman could override someone. It depends on who has more influence with Michel, right? So if he sends them, I know when Otto Wallin went, Dimitri would allow him to fight with the other promoters. Dimitri would still get his promoter's cut, even though the other promoter was doing most of the work. So something like that could be arranged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just I'm curious because it's kind of like the same thing with Elvis Rodriguez. He's still advised by Al Heyman, but he's promoted by Top Rank. So
yeah. So it's a funny thing now because it's like you got a manager, you got a promoter, you got an advisor, right? So, but Heyman's in a strange place right now because 2-3 years ago you could just put him on your own shows. You didn't have to deal with nobody unless it was like huge money. Now they may have to be a little more flexible and open-minded with that, depending on what they can offer. But Heyman's always been, for the right situation, he let Ruiz go fight Anthony Joshua, right? So it's not unprecedented.
It's true.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be a hindrance to anything, though.
I'm just curious. The reason I asked that, I'm curious as to like when we thinking about options for like let's say a Michel Rivera, like can we include the options on PBC because technically he's or is since he's with Salida, he has to, we only have to consider him for fights on the zone. That's more why I was going that route.
Basically, what Heyman's going to do is say whatever the best deal is what he's going to tell him to do, and then make sure it's the best deal. He'll work with them and get the best deal. The only time it becomes a problem is when there's a maybe lurking around in the background, right? There's a maybe. Now you might pass on this because maybe you get this, and when that maybe blows up, now you had neither. That's when it becomes a problem.
I'm almost ending the show now because I gotta go to work. But anything in boxing up and coming that interests you? Does that Berlanga Canelo interest you? And
I want to see it now that they're making it. And you know what? Now I want Berlanga to beat Alvarez just for picking the weakest link. Fuck it. I want Edgar to win now, so they stop all that.
You think he can make that happen?
No, but I want him to though.
Man, how he got that fight? Listen, I some guy at work. He's a casual boxing fan. He knows I'm a hardcore. He came up to me. He's like, how did Berlanga get this fight? I'm just like, I don't know, man. There's this guy named Benavidez, and doesn't look like Canelo wants to fight him. Doesn't look like he wants
Well,
anything to do with that guy.
the real question is how he get the #1 ranking. Really, that's what we should be asking. So Canelo could easily say, "I'm fighting the mandatory" or whatever you want to call it. He's borderline top 10, I think, Berlanga in that division.
Yeah, the division is not after like the top 4. It has like a big drop.
You know, there's not much separating with him. I have never seen anything in his past that lets me think he might beat Canelo. But you know what? I'm rooting for him now. Give it to Bushwick. Let Bushwick win. And they can stop playing all this marinating and dodging, right? Whatever, man. What are we doing? Even the Munguia fight was a little bit skeptical, right? That, you know.
I ain't like that fight at all because Munguia, all he did was duck his entire career, and then he gets rewarded with a Canelo fight. I really
now they doing the same thing with this guy. So, but you know what? I hope it backfires.
Hey, and I'm not even gonna blame you for that. I'm really not.
I hope it backfires. I think if Berlanga wins 2 rounds, that's a win though for him.
Yeah, I think if Berlanga goes to decision, it's a win.
No, he's a star if he goes to decision.
Yeah, because I can't picture this going past the 7th. Probably earlier, but I'm going 7th just to be nice.
I'm saying 5 or 6 rounds. But I hope he does. I hope he gives us a Rocky moment, you know, drops him or cuts him or something.
Hey, you never know, man. Never know. He is a puncher.
But I'm rooting for it though.
I got the Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. He says, "What's you and Jose's opinion, thoughts on Clarissa Shields winning the title at heavyweight and the rise of female boxing?" You want to tackle that first?
I mean, yeah, good for her. I mean, I don't think that girl was that heavy, right? What they? Oh no, they did a double thing, right? It's like heavyweight and heavyweight. I think it was 2 titles. I think so. No, good for Clarissa. I mean, what else can she do? Yeah, go get the heavyweight title. Why not? I don't know how strong a competitor that girl was, though, the one that she beat. But that ain't Clarissa's fault. Clarissa took her out. What was it, 2 rounds? There was 2 rounds. So yeah, so she did exactly what she was supposed to do. Clarissa's nice. Clarissa has a lot of skills. And one thing I like about her that you don't see too many. I was about to say too many females, but I'm gonna say men too. You don't see too many boxers anymore. She's pretty slick in there. She's got some defense. And if you ever seen her in person, she's kind of stocky, right? She don't seem that like she would be moving that much. So I think she's a very skilled fighter. About the rise in women boxing, let me tell you something. I went to the Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor fight, Madison Square Garden. That felt even more electric than the old Felix Trinidad fights.
Wow.
Yeah,
William Joppy, Felix Trinidad.
More than Joppy, Troy Waters. More than Joppy, William. More than Joppy, not Joppy. Trinidad Joppy, Trinidad Whitaker. Yeah, it just the atmosphere was crazy. Now a lot of that might have done because you also had the Irish fans over, right? So it was like pumping. But 25 years ago, I would never thought I'd have seen something like that.
Sure.
So yeah, it's good. It's good for the sport. You know, I'm not even too mad at this YouTube stuff with Jake Paul. You know, whatever, man. People want to pay for it. As long as they ain't like violating the sport. I'm not crazy about Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, though. I have mixed feelings about that.
Me neither. I'm not trying to see some guy in his late 50s fight anybody, to be honest with you. Let alone Jake Paul. Just if he was to fight somebody else his age, I still wouldn't be interested in that.
I think we're borderline exploiting right now. We're at that point. What's your thoughts on? You saw the Clarissa fight, or at least the highlights?
Yeah, I did. I'll address his questions. He said, my thoughts on Clarissa Shields winning the title at heavyweight. It doesn't impress me too much, and I don't want to take credit away from her. I hate to do that, but if you go on BoxRec, there's only 21 females at heavyweight, period, and the number 21 is The rank number 21 is 0-1. The rank number 20 is 0-1. The rank number 19 is 0-1. 18 0-2, 17 0-2. So it's like the talent pool at that weight in the female division isn't very high. So I can't go, wow, she became heavyweight champion of the world when you look at the division and how, you know, lack of depth and talent there is. I can't give her too much credit, but she is a two-time gold medalist. She is two-time undisputed in weight classes where there are talented females. So I definitely give her a lot of credit for that. And her moving up to heavyweight is just kind of like the cherry on top of my.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And as far as the rise of female boxing, man, it's I remember because I know Amanda Serrano probably for like 20 years. I know Amanda Serrano, just, you know, and I remember seeing her in the gym training hard, and thinking to myself and going, man,
why she doing this? Yeah,
like she's talented, but there's no money in this, and she's over here taking punches, and damn, I wish she wouldn't do this. I wish she found something else, and boom, she's the highest paid female ever. She's making $1 million. She made $1 million against Katie Taylor. Is with Jake Paul making money and stuff like that. So I love it, man. The more money in boxing, the better. And hey, listen, if there's a market for people wanting to watch females fight, why not? And it's also something good for the female community who could look at a woman and be like, hey, man, that's a strong woman. Hey, you know what? I can defend myself against this domestic abuser or something like that. And there's a lot of good that could come from that. So as far as my thoughts on the rise of female boxing, my thoughts is that it's a good thing. It's a good thing for boxing, and it's a good thing for the community, I feel, like for women in general.
Yeah, the only thing is I hope they don't get scandals like steroids. And the last thing we need is for a female to die in the ring or something. That is the only thing that would knock that movement back. Otherwise, you know, I don't know. I don't mean to be chauvinistic, but I think it would be not one ain't better than the other. But I think it or like I don't know how you going to feel. You see a punch drunk woman 20 years from now. I don't know.
I mean, it's a human, so it's kind of like saying a punch drunk man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, but it's something we got to get used to. Maybe, hopefully not, is what I'm saying.
True. Yeah. And as far as your concerns with steroids, what's her name? Alicia Baumgartner, who actually fought a Dominican in Cristina Linadaltu.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, she tested positive for a banned substance. So there has been some of that in female boxing, but
that ain't gonna do much negativity then, right?
True. Yeah, it didn't make waves. But I have another $5 super chat from here. The Nobody 92 sends $5. He says Michel Rivera versus Floyd Scofield. How do you see that fight? That's a fight I never thought of. I mean, depending on the weight, if Michel Rivera can make the weight, I would pick Michel Rivera.
Yeah, I would pick him too.
He's older, he's taller. He's taken a loss, he's come back. Like he's been 12 before. I would go Michel Rivera, but that's fight. I don't know if Michel Rivera was to fight at 135. I'm not 100% sure how he's gonna look. So I can't slam dunk tell you that's my pick, but if we just talk about they're both in good condition, I would pick Michel.
I kind of agree. I think it's kind of even now, but I think Schofield might have a higher ceiling. So if we talk 3 or 4 fights from now, I think he might pull away from Michel.
Yeah, and we'll see how he looks with Joan Guzman, who's not going to be training him.
That's official.
It is official. Official.
Good. That's a nice move for him. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of was the middleman in that, and
the matchmaker.
Yeah, I guess because I had connected them on the show. I'll say this story and then I gotta go because I gotta go to work.
I saw the show.
I
think I saw the show. That was when him and his father were there, right?
Yeah. So I made the connection, and then I kind of left that alone. I was like, Guzman, this is his number. Scofield, this is Guzman's number. And I just kind of let them do their thing. I touched base with Guzman, like, hey man, how's it going? When you gonna train him? Was it? He's like, kind of like they haven't come into agreement with certain things, and I'm like, what are you looking for? And numbers was discussed and stuff like that. So I went back to Scofield's camp, and they said, yeah, that's fine.
Really, really put them together. And
yeah. They said the numbers that they spoke of was good, and supposedly, right now Scofield is injured. He's had a few injuries. And so that's why he hasn't fought. And he most likely is going to fight in November. So once he's fully recovered from all his injury, he actually had a surgery.
Same injury all the time?
No.
Or recurring injury?
One was I don't know how much I can talk about, but it's an injury, lower half injury. I'll say that he had a lower half injury, and then he had also a rib injury. He fractured a rib.
All right. I'm just hoping like he ain't keep hurting the same hand or something. Because then
no. One was a rib, and one was
right.
I'll say lower. I'll tell you off camera. He had like a lower half surgery and stuff like that.
You leave it a lot to the imagination.
Hey man, I'm leaving it at that. So once he's fully recovered from his injuries and training camp is starting, they're gonna Guzman is gonna take a trip out to Texas and start training for his training camp and let's see what he can bring to the table, because I feel like seeing him. Seeing Scofield learn some little defensive moves from Guzman, I think that could be a game changer for his style.
Yeah, I mean, if he could do it, I don't like.
If he could do it, yeah,
do it. I don't want him to change his style to it, but if he could fight a bit like Guzman, that's not a bad thing.
Now, what Guzman told me was, listen, I'm here to teach. I'm here to add. I'm not here to change.
Gotcha. So, that's smart.
Yeah. So if you're naturally an aggressive fighter. Or I'm not going to tell you, all right, now be Floyd Mayweather. I'm just going to, all right.
We saw that with Charlo. He didn't change Charlo too much. Okay.
He didn't change Charlo. Just, all right, you see this? When he does this, do that. When he does that, do this. And then, just, he says, I'm just there to add to whatever. He goes, the kid is 22-0, I think, 23-0. He goes, why do I need to change him? He already won.
You got to run?
I do got to run.
Handle your business.
All right, fellas. Everybody, thank you so much for watching the video, especially Nobody 92 sending all them super chats. I really, truly appreciate you. Guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Go buy a Dominican boxing shirt on BroadwayJoel.com. Follow me on Twitter at BroadwayJoel. Follow me on Instagram at BroadwayJoel. You want to plug anything?
No, you got to get to work. I'll plug later.
All right. I'll see you, my brother.
Later.